Welcome to Prison Professors. I'm Michael Santos, and today I'm having an incredible gift that I want to share with all of you. This is my dear friend and a mentor from while I was in prison. His name is Bob Brennan. He's an extraordinary guy, and I'm so proud of him because he just put this book together. I'm trying to show you right now. We don't have Disney-level production, but what I like to do is show people in prison, regardless of what challenge you're going through, you can always work towards something better. Bob, thanks so much for agreeing to just Shanghai you and put you on our little YouTube
it's a pleasure.
channel.
It's a pleasure to be here with you and to see you again after such a long hiatus.
So why don't you tell them where we met?
Well, Michael and I met in Fort Dix prison. He was kind of almost not even quite midterm, I think, in what was an extraordinarily long, ridiculously long sentence. And I was a first timer to this whole experience, and we met out on the prison grounds with Michael came up and approached me one day and saw that I was new to the compound at Fort Dix. And we very quickly attached, became friends, and spent countless hours walking the prison grounds, talking. And I learned a little bit about what Michael's ambitions were and how he could help people who were being incarcerated.
But what I think is the salient point there is that I walked up and approached Bob because I could see that he was a guy that didn't belong in prison. He was a guy that clearly had done a lot more than I went to prison when I was 20, in my early 20s. And he'd already led a really extraordinary career. And I knew I could learn from him. And if you're going through challenges, you could learn as well. Bob, why don't you tell him a little bit about the career that you led for multiple decades?
Well, I started out as a humble accountant with a CPA license, but the minute that I had that CPA license, I left and started a career on Wall Street working for a small brokerage firm. And within a couple of years, then became president of that firm, which had about 300 or 400 employees. And within a year or so after that, I started my own firm and built it, First Jersey Securities, which we built from initially 5 people up to where we had over 2,000 employees within 4 or 5 years. And then from there, I sprung out into other things and developed racetracks, 3 racetracks in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, one of which has become a casino now, Parks Casino, Garden State Park racetrack. Then I built from scratch again, a chain of 40 or so restaurants, mostly seafood restaurants along the coast that went from Florida up to Maine. So the experience of starting was so exciting and exhilarating, starting something new, that I kept starting other new things and kept the others. So by the time Michael and I met, and by the time I was hauled off to have a 10-year holiday in the federal prison, by that time I had 10,000 employees, all of which became casualties of spending 10 years in a federal prison, by the way.
But that did not end Bob's life. We reconnected, and he's just published this extraordinary book, Brennan, The Record Stands. And if you look through here, you even get images of just what an incredible influence he had there. Bob is on the cover of Forbes magazine. You will see him here with Pope John Paul. You will see him here with so many distinguished leaders, including President George Bush. Where is this picture taken?
That was taken at my home in New Jersey.
Bob was the chairman of the Republican Party, isn't that right?
Well, I was not the chairman of the party. I was one of the people who was very involved in helping the Republican Party at that time. A good friend was the finance chairman of the Republican Party, and so he always had hooks out for people who could be helpers and contributors, really. But it was beyond that, the relationships that I developed with both President Bush, President Reagan, President Nixon, and many of the others who...
You have all those pictures right in there. And Jonathan can plug these pictures in, so you'll actually see them. So Jonathan, while we're talking, just go ahead and weave those in. There's President Reagan and Bob. I mean, just an extraordinary life. And what's more important is he's living this fulfilling life right now. I met you when you were how old? What year was it?
Hey, take it easy there.
What year? I mean, look at how extraordinary he looks. I'm now 60 years old. I just had my 60th birthday.
And I'm going to have my 80th in 2 weeks.
And so this is really what, I want you to see is you might be going through crisis right now. You might be going through a challenge, but you might make some lifelong friends while you're there. You might reinvent yourself and find that you could live a life of meaning and relevance and dignity. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm going to try and get more conversations with Bob and share his story with you. I'm really trying to push him to turn his book into a course because I know I learned so much from Bob, and I know you can as well. He still has a tremendous amount to give to society, and I'm very fortunate to call you a friend.
One thing I will tell everybody is if you want to learn how to survive real hardships and challenges, this is the guy to go to.
It's all about resilience. I learned it from him, and I'm just trying to be a servant and pass those along to guys like you. Be well. We believe in you.